Settle down. Anybody wants to go to the toilet, go ahead now.
What is happening, everybody? Glad to see everybody got here early. I hope you enjoyed a little different introduction. I think my man has earned his own special introduction, what he's offered to this community, to our show, the reality report with Craig and friends. And Jimmy is a friend and a real friend and a friend to the community. And I love him. And that's my guy. So I was able to get some nice pictures, and I can't take credit for that because you guys know I'm pretty bad with this stuff. So I was told if I didn't say this, I was not going to be fed for a week or so. So my wife, Miss Catherine, was the sound technician on that. She picked out the music. Honestly, I would have went with a Frankie Valli due to the history, but Dean Martin and my son, you guys will get to know, Lil Pip, he put the arrangement together. So I got to show them they're giving love. With no further ado, let's bring in my main man, Jimmy D. What is happening, my brother?
How are you, Craig? How are you? How's your wife doing? How's the family doing?
Everybody's good. That was beautiful. You got a chance to speak with her and stuff. I enjoyed that. That meant a lot to me.
Right. No, well, it's good to be associated with nice people. So, how's everything going? And you want to get going into some. We'll go back to some stories.
We got some good stuff. I remembered a lot of stuff, so I went back.
Yeah, from when we're always talking to each other. Yeah, so if you recall anything, just let me know. Let me just hit me with it. Hit me with it.
I'm gonna hit you with it. I would just like to thank everybody in the chat real quick. All right, brother?
Go ahead.
But they're here for you, not me, man. They're sick of me already. They see me too many days a week. Started off, Cinnamon Girl, thank you. Terry, Kelly, Maureen, Dave T, always my brother. I don't want to miss anybody. Matty Boy, Joetown Jack, what's good, brother? Maureen Frick, Wyatt Earp, always a pleasure. Always. Baywatcher, my man. Back in the day, we used to say, my man, 50 grand. That was a different part of town. But anyway, I want to make sure I get everybody. Kelly, I hope I got you. I think I did. Maddie, we're going to be good. Let's rock. And Barbara, I know you're going to be popping in soon. Timmy Irish, what's good, Timmy, my man? Timmy, always a pleasure. Everybody here, so happy you're here. Without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this, and I'm going to jump in with something I really want the answer to. Jimmy.
What's that, Craig? What's that?
Mike F., pleasure. All right, here we go. Jimmy, I remember, we've talked about so much off camera over the last few months.
Right.
Even going back to when I used to with Larry. I remember we didn't get into it, but you told me that back when you were I think it was either 7th or 8th grade, you had a history teacher that had a problem with his hands, and he would actually hit the students. I mean, physically hit them. And he was a real son of a bitch. That's all I really remembered. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh yeah. He died. He died now. So I'll say his name. A lot of people remember him in Belleville, New Jersey. He was in middle school, and his wife also taught. I think she taught history or one of the other, or civics or something. But he was also a history teacher. I think they taught history, but different grades. One was 9th grade, one was 8th grade. And I had him in 8th grade, and he was Pat Forte. His name was Forte. And let me tell you something. Back in the 70s, you were allowed to hit students. In other words, the teachers, if a kid would get out of line, right? I remember this Italian teacher, Fabrizio, he taught Italian class. He would come out there and he'd say, what did I tell you to do? I'll slap that face And he would come down in the middle of the classroom and literally slap a kid's face, like, and I mean hard. And I remember one time he was in the hallway, and he was telling kids, this one kid that was acting incorrigible, he said, "I'll send you to the cemetery." He was telling him. This was the Italian teacher. But Pat 40, he was a tough guy. He was, first of all, let me describe him. He was like a portly guy. He had fingers like bananas. and he used to hit you. We went to a Philadelphia class trip, and what happened was I was on the trip, and we had two particular buses, to go there, bus number 1, bus number 2. So when I went on bus number 1, my friends who I was with in Silver Lake, it was on the second bus. So on the way home, he made an announcement. He came on, he said, "Let me make an announcement. Is there anybody on bus number 1 that belongs on, or who's here now on bus number 2 that belongs on bus number 1 now?" He goes, "I repeat, is there anybody on bus number 2 that belongs on bus number 1 now?" So I didn't say nothing. All of a sudden, before we took off, he comes out, he goes, "Demodica." He goes, "Demodica." He called me Demodica. He says, "Get off this bus." He goes, "Get off this bus, boy." He goes, "You want to mess me up?" And he's cracking me in the back of the head. I says, "I'm going to get this guy one day," right? Now, here comes the best part, because this is like
I gotta stop you. I definitely know while this is going on, your dad had to be away. Otherwise, this does not happen.
Of course. Right. He didn't know the wrath of Juicy. He didn't understand. He thought he was a tough guy because he's over there slapping kids all day long in school. Doesn't realize that there's real men out there that'll lay down a beating on him. So what happens is, 4 years later, 1974, I'm a junior in high school. My father was home then. He had come home he was in between going away or whatever. He was home at the time, and he came to the house. Pat 40 came to the house, and he wanted my father. He says, "Juice, I'm laying my cards on the table." He says, "I want you to be my godfather." He says, "I want to be principal of number 9 school." He says, "An opening, and I know you can do this," because my father had political connections. He would get people jobs. He got people on the Board of Education in Belleville, and even in the township of Nutley, which was right next to us. Yeah. So my father gets in with the councilmen, which were 7 councilmen in the town of Belleville. He gets him a 7-0 vote. He gets to be principal of number 9 school, which was elementary school. He never even sent my father a fruit basket of thanks. Nothing. Zero. Right? No, let's wait. Let's just save it. It's just building up. Now, but now we go fast forward the tape to 1998, right? Through that time, he sees me here and there throughout the years. "How you doing, Mr.?" You always say Mr. 40 because when you're a kid, you always say that Mr. to a teacher or Mrs., when it's somebody's your teacher, So anyway, he's in an Exxon gas station on Belleville Avenue in Belleville. And so all of a sudden, I see him getting gas in the Exxon station. He weighs me down. He goes, get in here, pull over." He's always real boisterous, He said, "Listen, I know you can do this, but through your father, because now you can get this done. I want to be superintendent of schools." I says, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "That's no problem." I said, "I can get you that, yeah." So now I'm saying, I said, "But just so you know ahead of time," I says, "my father was on 2 trials that year. He was on a federal and a state trial in 1998. For duplicitous charges for being the boss of the Gambino family of the Jersey side." Mm-hmm. So now I say to him, and I'm with my friend Dominic at the time, and I say to him, "My father needs some kind of financial assistance, though, just to help him out." I says, "Because he's trying to raise money for lawyers. It's really being a hardship on the budget is being a hardship on the family." He says, well, I'm not a kind of guy that has thousands. Maybe I have a couple of hundred. I think that in my mind too. So my friend says to him, now we're in his office in number 9 school, which is the elementary school. My friend pops up and says, you mean to tell me, he says, in your time of need, Juicy was there for you and made you superintendent of schools. He says, now when it's his time of need, all you have is a few hundred. So he gets up and just leaves him, just shuts the door. So now we know psychologically we're working on him. He says to me, the teacher says to me, he goes, Jimmy, why did he just leave and didn't say nothing, just shut the door? That bothers me psychologically. I said, do you know what that kid is? I said, that kid, if my father tells him to bring back 9 heads in a duffel bag, he'll bring home an extra head, even if it ain't one of the people that were guilty. He'll bring home an extra head in the duffel bag. You're insulting. He goes, all right, come tomorrow. Take 5,000, all right? All right, no problem. He brings me the 5,000 the next day. I'm just getting warmed up. So now he's talking to me. He says to me, he goes, hey, Jimmy, he says, can you get me a girl, Brodsky? You know, my wife died. You know, I haven't had any girl. Get me a Brodsky. He says, Brodsky. I said, yeah. It's what he said, yeah, right? So we happen to know this girl who did favors like that, was a professional, but she looked very young, but she was naturally of legal age. So now I give her $300. I send her to his house. So the inevitable happens. They fool around. I pick her up about an hour later. I wait a month. I grab her again. I say, listen, I want you to go back to his house and tell him, say, listen, that you happen to be pregnant by his child. You're the only one that he fooled around with, that you went all the way with, and that he exploded in or whatever. I said, and you don't believe in abortion, that you're going to have this baby. And if you don't, you're going to go right to the Board of Education and tell them that what he did. My beeper at the time was blowing a fuse. He says, Jimmy, this girl is going to ruin my life. I says, hold on, Pat. Let me talk to her. I says, let me see if she'll, maybe we'll calm her down. So I call him back. I says, yeah. I says, guess what? The girl wants 40,000. I says, he goes, oh my God. He says, all right, just give me some time. It took him 2 weeks. He took another loan from the New Jersey, the teachers union. Right? No, I'm not done yet. He thinks he paid the girl off and his troubles are over. Now he talks to me one day. He says, meet me at the Stack restaurant. It was on, I forget, Ridge Road or something, whatever. It was in Arlington, New Jersey. I meet him there. As I'm talking to him, he's telling me about his janitor who got him at a jury duty. The janitor got him at a jury duty, him and his daughter. He says, I don't have to go to jury duty. He said, because the janitor's cousin is a judge. He says, he got me at a jury duty. Imagine this. I don't have to go to jury duty at all. I just walk away. All of a sudden, he notices a guy just sitting in the car. Meanwhile, at that time when he was talking to me, I went to Radio Shack and I bought a micro cassette recorder and I stuffed it in the middle of my waistband and I'm letting him talk into the recorder. So now he's telling me all this. It's all being on tape. I'm doing it on purpose, but it's not nothing to do with any kind of legal issue. It's just to get him for money. That's all. It's just a scam.
Right.
So now he says out of nowhere, which was perfect. He says, who's that guy in that car? He looks familiar. I says, yeah, he does. I said, let's get away from there. Anyway, let's forward the tape. A week later, we want to take him to dinner, me and Dominic. While we're at dinner, I tell him, I say, Pat, remember that guy in the car? Guess what? He was a Fed. But good news, he was dirty. He could be bought. I said, look, I put a Walkman. I put the earphones on his ears. He's trying to eat his appetizer, and he's listening to his own words saying, yeah, I got out of jury duty. He's trying to eat And every time he eats, he goes, oh, he goes, oh, he can't even eat. He's getting sick while he's there at the restaurant. So now I says, Dominic, I said, go on the payphone and see what this guy will take. I said, yeah, we're going to find out what we can do. I says, look, me and Dominic can do the time. I know, can you do the time? If this guy wants to put you away, he's got the tape. What do you want from me? So Dominic's on the phone. He makes believe he's calling. So meanwhile, he's talking to nobody on the phone. He says, yeah, I'm with that party now. He says, what would it take to give us the copy of the original tape? He says, yeah, can you bring that down a little bit? Yeah, he hangs it. He goes, the guy wants 60,000. He goes, oh, geez. He goes, all right. He goes, just give me a little time.
Yeah,
Another 2 weeks, man. He gives me another 60. He gives me another 60. So now I'm figuring I'm going to get him for the jugular vein. I'm going to cut his throat now, like, so to speak, figuratively, So now I go to him. I'm in the house. And so I go see him at the house. I'm with Dominic, and I says, look, me and Dominic always wanted to open up a McDonald's. I says, you're going to get the McDonald's and put it in your name. I said, but we're going to run it. It's going to be our joint. He goes, no, Jimmy, please. He gets on his knees like a big bison. He's kissing my hands. After that, he would never answer a phone call. Whenever he would see me in the street with his car, he would take off at 100 miles an hour. This guy, originally he said, I ain't got a couple of thousand. I might have a couple of hundred. Yeah, when I got done with him, he had a couple of 100,000. I took about 200,000 off him. That's how you get him. You get him for that crack in the back of the head. You get him in his pocket. That's how you get somebody.
That's fucking beautiful. I mean, beautiful. You know what I mean? Of
course, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
And, how things go, and that you're always making moves, and if you're involved with that, that's a brilliant move. It's a great scam. It's fucking an amazing maneuver. We'll use that word. I would like just to mention something. I have a very dear friend of mine that I said would eventually come on this show. He was nice enough to pop into the chat. Obviously, I'm very partial, a dear friend of mine and a great boxer, Mr. Freddie Pitbull Libertori. Freddie, thank you so much for coming in. I told the crowd eventually you'd get to us. Thank you so much, my brother. And this is my other brother, Jimmy, Freddie. Freddie's great people. Oh, Jimmy, great.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you, pal.
Great.
Any friend of Craig? He's a friend of mine.
Long line of good lineage.
I come from a long line of crime and a long line of love.
I felt it was a need to just say that and let the chat know another good person, another friend is with our friends here. I got one for you. You see, you think I forget the stuff you tell me that from months and months, a while ago. I don't. One thing I didn't lose. The only thing I forget is when my wife says I need milk and bread. I always forget one of them. But when it comes to these types of stuff, I don't forget them. So she says I have selective memory. Maybe she's right. She might have a point. Vinny Chicken Cutlets. Just have a little love and respect, and you'll stay here. You know what I mean, my friend? I don't want to give you too much breath if you're going to be out of control. Otherwise, just enjoy and relax, and you'll find out where Jimmy's from. No problem. You'll be part of this community. You'll love being here. Thank you. I got one for you, brother. I never forgot. I remember, I knew, like my father told me in Harlem, they used to shake down the butchers and the barber shops. And I used to hear about that. Tommy, what's up, Tommy? And I used to, I would hear the stories, and it wasn't just, it might have been a Harlem thing, but you brought something, it was a little different, but it was the same thing. Tell me about, you thought I forgot, I got you. Tell me about a little bit, some pizzerias you started to shake down. You never told me how you could, it started, but how it turned into like a lucrative business from shaking down.
wasn't it didn't really start out as a shake. It seems
Right.
like a shake to some
Right.
people, but it was a legitimate. It was a legitimate product that we offered. I
And
used
what
to
was
be
that?
there with. I was there with Alley Boy Persico, and Alley Boy used to say, "Come with me," he said. Now he lived on 86th Street in Brooklyn. I used to get there to the Battery Tunnel. I used to go see him, and he lived on 86th Street. And the place that where we used to go was the 19th Hole or the Misfit Lounge. First they had two different names, but it was a long time known as the 19th Hole. But when I met him, it was the Misfit Lounge.
Yeah, I
And
wasn't. I heard of it. I'm not a Brooklyn, I'm from the other end. But
But-
go ahead.
anywho, I'm with Alley Boy, and he says, "I need you to take a ride with me today." He says, "Because I'm trying to get these pizzerias to get our boxes." I says, "Okay." So I go with him, and we go to each pizzeria, and he would say, and then he would let me. Once I learned the spiel, then he would let me. Then he just let me handle it. I would say, "Listen, we get let me see your boxes." I said, "Listen, the quality, this gauge isn't even as thick. It won't hold the heat." He says, "Ours are thicker. It'll hold you." I said, "Plus, we'll print your name on it, and we'll give it to you for $5 or $10 cheaper per 100, or whatever the selling price was." So the people would be compelled to get it through us. So Alley Boy first did it, but it was for his father from Carmine Persico. This is what he started. First, he started, again, the pizza box business in the tri-state area. He cornered that business. Now it became the sauce. Then it became the mozzarella, the napkins, the paper plates. And guess what it became? Roma Foods. Roma Foods. When you see the 18-wheelers, that's Carmine Persico. But he had somebody else there at the time until he sold the company. Years ago, he sold the company for God knows for an astronomical sum.
Yeah.
But that was his initial, and he was in every state in America. Roma Foods. Whenever you saw tractor trailers, that they supplied the pizza industry again with the mozzarella, with the napkins, the plates, the sauce. Everything.
I remember we had the conversation about, I was telling you that they were going to put me in the feast. I had out in the Bronx, but they were going to put me in the feast, but everything, you had to get the sausage. It was all them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody, it was all those guys.
You have to get the meats through somebody. You have to get your sauce over here, and yeah, it's everything is all laid out. But everything was quality. It wasn't bad quality.
No,
so
top notch.
And then you had check it out. When I was with Andrew Russo in jail. Andrew was second in command over there through Carmine Persico. He was like the acting boss.
Cousin.
With Andrew, we're sitting in Otisville in jail, and right next to our chow hall was where the guards ate. But we wouldn't be privy to eat, and nor did we see them. But yet we got some of the salad dressings that were being used from there. I look at it and I'm starting laughing. I slide it in front of Andrew and I said, "Look at it. It says Roma Foods on it." Otisville is buying their product unbeknownst to them. While they're in jail, they're buying their product. It's really amazing how things go around. But then again, I don't know if he sold the company by then or what or whatever. But it was really like a kick to see that. It's really funny.
Did you wind Did you wind up? Would you say it turned into a nice piece of change? Like it was a steady thing. Like you did well off of it. Yeah.
No, because Alley Boy took care of me out of it. In other words, he did it for my leg work, whatever it was. It was something. It was like a salary per day, which was really nice. And then it was so many 100 boxes. Whatever I would sell, I would get a certain percentage, and then it would be broken down. And then it would also be in perpetuity. In other words, if that particular pizzeria kept ordering, I would still keep getting my residual every month. So it was really lucrative for me to market the tri-state area. And at the first time, it was only with boxes, and it wasn't even with the mozzarella or any of the other stuff. So I was really happy about that.
They had he had a lot. I mean, not that I only, what little I did know came from somebody on that side that was going to put me in that big feast in Brooklyn. And that's when, I kind of knew they had everything, because he was telling me everything had to come through them. So,
Right.
So, I mean, the littlest thing, they supplied it. You couldn't buy fucking napkins. It had to come from them. But it's just funny.
Right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. You couldn't, they put you in a good spot. You'll make a lot of money, but everything is going to come from them. And that's how it
right,
works.
because without their product, you're not going to make any money, because at least with them, you were guaranteed of a decent product to sell. And that's how it's figured out. It's all factored in.
I got somebody saying in the chat, Jim, if you don't mind, because I got a real juicy one that I'm going to get to you. We'll get to in a second. But there's people that have some, I think, nice questions for you. I if you don't mind, can we answer a few of them? Would you like?
I don't mind. I can go all day.
I know you can, brother. All right, let's try to. I'm just going to get a kick out of this one. Wyatt Earps. They had the South Bronx. That's where I got shot. Actually, I was just up in Hunts Point 2 weeks ago. I had to go to see so not anybody. I had a doctor over there. So I used to live in the Bronx. So I'm in Queens. I've been in Queens for many years. So I was just up in and my wife is from the South Bronx. If you know the South Bronx well, I'll tell you exactly the area. You'll know it well. Vinny's new. I like his name. Vinny Chicken Cutlets. I like that. He wants to know, Jimmy, do you have any idea who had Ferrara Foods? They used to have big trucks. They had, I don't want to, I'm not going to say it unless I know it 1,000,000%. You remember Ferrero? Some would say Ferraro. They had,
that's the pastry business. That's the pastry business.
I believe they always had like the Italian colors on the truck, if I'm remembering correctly. Is
Right.
that right, Vinny? Yeah. But you know what? If you know it, tell us. If not, we'll get you the answer. Jimmy will get it to you.
No, I know the answer, but some people are still alive, and they won't be happy if I were to give the public answer. So, but I am familiar with Ferraro. Yes.
Hold on a second. Freddie, are you saying? Are you answering that question, or are you speaking to somebody in the chat?
No, I'm answering the question that was proposed to me.
Yeah, no, I know that. A friend of mine might be answering it. Anyway, we'll get into that. A guy is also asking, I know the answer, I want to give it to you. No, Rayo's is on Pleasant Avenue, and it's open to the public, but you do need to have your own table or somebody that has a table. Jimmy, you could speak on that, right? Rayo's.
No, if I want to go there, like when I do go there, I'll have to just do like the day before. I'll just call the day before, and then I'll be able to have a table. Yeah. But you don't have to have your own table per se. But okay. But if you're not known there, and then if you do go the proper channels, it'll take about 3 months to get a reservation. That's in Harlem too.
Absolutely. My father's, everybody came from there. On both sides. The family. Somebody asked in a question. It's a good question. You hear it a lot. They want to know, is Chicago considered, it's a good question, part of Cosa Nostra? You'll answer it, and then maybe I'll have a take on it. What they're not part of New York, they don't have a seat at the table, but I mean, they're, it's just another state, but go ahead, Jimmy. What do you think?
They're part, but they're separate. They're separate from the 5 crews in New York.
Well,
that's it. Just like the Cavalcantes are like considered the 6th family, but when we say they're bunches, they're zips, but we don't recognize them.
Absolutely.
Now, listen to what I'm telling you. This is what my father told me. We don't recognize them as we'll do business with them. But they got hard heads because they think it all started with them from back in Sicily, from Giuliano, from the years of Giuliano up in the mountains from 400 years ago and all that. So they just have a funny take on it. Like when Frank Polizzi was alive, he had a button from Sicily and a button here. That was from the Pizza Connection. And he was in Belleville. And there's a story with Frank. When I ran the labor union, let me tell you how they are, these zips. We say a zip. Or a greenhorn, they speak broken English. When I'm running the labor union, there was a contractor that worked in Irvington, New Jersey. He was putting up a Pep Boys, which is like an auto supply store. And they're putting up 10,000 feet of split cinder block, what they call split block, which is all mason work. They had a mason on the job. Raimundo was doing the job, was the GC, which was the general contractor. So now, my friend Frank, I can say Frank Polizzi because he's dead, and his other friend Frank so-and-so was there. His other partner Frank was also Italian. So now they corral me in the diner and they say, "Hey Jim," he says, this guy, this Pep Boys job, he says, they're in your territory. He says, but do me a favor." He goes, "Take this." He says, "Take this for me." He just wanted me to take a ham sandwich at 2,000 to fix the labor. And I says, "Cheech." You always say Cheech for Frank in Italian. You say, "Oh, Cheech." I says, it's not that way. I says, because my friend is not going to like that. The guy that I had to answer to, and it wasn't little Sammy at the time. Because little Sammy was still away until he got cleared on that thing with CABERT until he came home.
Absolutely.
So now I'm talking to him, and I says, "No," I says, "Well, I'll tell you what," I says, I'll meet you back this afternoon. Let me go see my friend first." Meanwhile, I run to the job in Irvington on Springfield Avenue for the Pep Boys job, and the job supervisor was a guy named Joe for Raimundo. I talked to him. I says, "Joe, what's this mason, this guy Marcus, whatever the hell he was, I forgot his name." He said, what does he get?" He said, "Oh no." He says, for this account, he's getting 88,800. I said, "Thanks." He told me to figure. I go back to Polizzi and I tell him, I says, "That guy, that mason that you're with," I says, "he's telling you to give me 2,000 because he's not making much. He's lying to you." I said, "He's not making 26,000. He's making 88,800. He says, "That's what you do? You count the people some money?" I says, "Yeah. When they say they ain't got enough to pay me, sure, I count their money." He says, "All right, take a 4, and that's it." I says, "But we were going to get 6, but we were going to go down to 4, me and my friend said." I said, "Okay." He says, "Yeah, well, we'll pay you after the job." I said, No, we get it before the job. This way I ain't got to go chase nobody after the job is done, what they owe me." He says, "All right." So he saw me, and I had to meet his other friend, Frank, and he paid me he had a painting company. He met me in the dark corner of one of his little rooms, and he gave me the 4,000. But it's like pulling teeth with these guys. These zips are crazy, I'm telling you. This is why we don't recognize them.
Gotcha. Thank you for clearing that up. I would have maybe not said it exactly like that, but That's what I was always told. Kind of the same
In
thing.
other words, here, Frank.
Yeah.
I mean, Craig, you don't lay down for another crew. Never. You never
Absolutely.
lay down for another crew because that ain't my crew. You hear me? That ain't my crew. That might be yours, but it ain't mine. So I ain't laying down for you.
%, million%. That's right. But it's good. I like that you share it because a lot of many people, the life that your dad and you lived and I played a part in for some years. My lawyer told me this. It's a very small speck in the grand scheme of things. And when you're right, compared to the life, the word they use, life, to the world, it was just a little dot.
Yeah, well said.
That people don't understand. That little dot controlled this whole fucking country. Excuse my language. From dock to every highway, from port to port, nothing got done without things in place. And these guys were called morons, retards. They couldn't count to 5. Guess what? They could have ran 500 Fortune 500 companies.
That's right.
What was built? They were listen. It's not about this. The Irish came here. They were persecuted. The Italians came here. Next, persecuted. They didn't want to give it to us. Not my time. Ancestry. We took it. You want to treat us like dogs? You want to treat us like dogs? Now we'll show you what it's like to be a fucking dog. Anyway, enough for me because I'll go on for 3 hours about how I feel about that. But anyway, I know you're getting, I can hear from here. Are you getting hunger pains yet?
Yeah.
Nervous when you're getting hungry. They know we're getting close. But this is I gotta phrase this the right way because normally, I got no hair on my tongue. I say it for what it is. But I want to say this the right way because I don't want anybody. But I got to ask it. I'm gonna ask it the way we talk. Here it is. Tell me about. I always thought because it was a little before me, and I was never involved with that end of what I'm going to ask you at all. The adult industry business. Can I ask you a couple of things about that? Because I heard a little something that you might have thought it passed over my head. But I'd like to talk to you about you.
Well, I gave you a poster. There was a 1-sheet poster I sent you. I don't know if you still have it.
I saved it.
No, you saved it.
Yeah. But I'm going to put it up, and then maybe you could talk. I'll take it. I'm going to put it up, and then it's going to come down, and then we could talk about it. Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll enlighten you about a few aspects of it. Sure.
Right in the chat, please. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull me and you out for a second so I can put this up. This is a cover of a adult film. That behind us is a cover of an adult film. Jimmy, if you want to talk about the years this.
You can't see it all. You only saw a close up of it. You
couldn't crop small enough to get it in, but when you take us out, they get the message out and clear.
Yeah, that was done in the last film that I was 26 years old and I directed it. I used the name J.D. Marlowe instead of Jimmy DeModica. I kept my 3 initials. You see a hospital, which was actually in Belleville, which was across from the golf course, across from Hendricks Field, and it was called Soho Hospital in Belleville, and it was up on a hill. As a matter of fact, it's the same hospital that they show in the movie A Beautiful Mind. You see it from a high distance. They show it. It's supposed to be where Russell Crowe went to go and break the code for the naval ships or for the longitude and latitude scene in the movie. That particular thing. Anyway, that hospital is supposed to be about a clinic for the sexually insane, and that's what I wrote it and I directed it. And at the end, you see how they escape into suburbia. The two girls, of course, attack the doctor, and they take his keys, and then they escape into suburbia, going out and to wreak their craziness into the world, you know. But again, I was 26. My friend Frankie DeLessio, who passed away, but he used to work for Howard Farber and Arthur Morowitz, who controlled the whole porno business back in the 60s and 70s and 80s. And this was 1983. And again, I'm 26. And Frankie says to me, if we write this picture, we got guaranteed distribution. That's all he had to tell me. So I wound up making $60,000 on it. I made another $10,000 just on the video cassettes, because I got paid not by how many cassettes sold, but how many that were actually manufactured and made.
Yeah.
So,
but at 26 years old,
if you still go on, if you go on YouTube and you go, or you go on the TNA flicks, I think you would still be able to see the movie for free. But again, but that's not my thing, though. In other words, I only did that just to make money. But
make it and earn. But I got to ask you, at 26 years old, you're on the set, correct? You're director.
Oh yeah, I was a director. Yeah.
I got to ask you, because at 26, you know, I know what my hormones might have been like. You understand? At 26, you're seeing, forget about the money end of it. I know we're always thinking about the money, of course. That's what's
but it's different. It's different, Craig, because you're in charge. You're in charge of everything. In other words, the microphone. You got $10,000 worth of raw stock footage of Fuji 35 millimeter film, you know, that has to be filmed. So you're not there to make games or trying to make girls. No. That's all BS. Because you gotta be there to make sure you deliver an answer print, which was my part of my contract with EBART Production and Video X Pix, PIX, Video X Pix. That was the company that did all of the videotapes. So, but I'm telling you, it's all business. Like them girls, like sure, they wanted to see me and stuff, but you're not going to go. Ron Jeremy is such a scumbag. I'm going to tell you, this guy.
He's from Bayside, Queens.
Let me tell you something. His real name is Ron Jeremy Hyatt, like the Hyatt Hotel. Ronnie Hyatt, that's his name, right? So he's on my film. So. We're on the set, so we have to wait until he actually arouses himself to get ready for the scene. Meanwhile, his damn underwear is gray, it's dirty, and of course it took a while to get the blood flowing in that monstrosity that he has. And then in his scene he's supposed to be like a real sexual pervert. And he's handcuffed. He's handcuffed to the headboard, and he says, "You quacks!" He goes, "Somebody get me off." He goes, "Oh, you won't? Well, I'll do it myself." And he bends over and he goes down on himself, but he doesn't finish. Naturally, the nurse comes in and says, "Oh, you poor soul, I'll help you." And that's where the saxophone comes in, and that's where the scene comes in. But he's like a real. He's grimy though.
You're lucky, or maybe it would have been good. I would have been a good partner for you. It didn't happen, obviously. My son just made a comment. It's on the thing. He says, "You see what I told you every time I shave?" My son says, "Clean shaven, slick back hair." Oh boy, we're back in 2000 again. No, just two friends talking, Antonio. But my son Antonio wanted to say hello, like everybody else in the chat.
Hi, Antonio.
That is freaking hysterical. I don't know how, honestly, 26, you're able to but it's like you said, you're busy doing a million things. You're not, especially you got to worry about a guy getting, you know what I mean, furthest thing that you want to worry about.
No, the another thing, the girl that he went with, and it was Diane Hatton. They let their names be known, and the guy, her husband was Buddy Hatton. They had this young girl, Linda Joquin or something. Anyway, she signed a contract that she was of age, but I don't think she was really of age at the time. I don't know. So anyway, she's with them, like they have her involved with them as threesomes all the time. Like talk about degenerates. When she's the wife is going with Ron Jeremy during takes, we said, all right, we're going to change lenses. I says, Diane, just keep Ron around so we don't lose, the scene. We're going to just change lenses. And there's a guy with a beard behind me. He's going, hi, honey. Hi. He says, you should know, that's my wife, He goes, I said, we're married 10 years. I says, really? Well, what a lucky guy you are. I was saying, these people? Then he says to me, I don't know what Jeremy did to my wife, because the next day we had to film her husband's scenes. He said, I don't know what Jeremy did to my wife. He says, but after we were done filming, we went to Plato's Retreat. And we didn't sleep all night. We've been going at it all night until we just came here 8 o'clock this morning. And they just came 8 o'clock in the morning to do more action. I mean, these people are crazy. I mean, what's the matter with these people?
You know what? Maybe it was, ladies and gentlemen, this is a clean show on tonight.
That's right.
Yeah, this is not for children.
Clean show. That's right. Clean show.
I want to say one thing, man. And I know you got hunger pains. You go eat. I needed to laugh, man. There's a lot of shit going on.
We'll save some stories. We'll save some stories for next week.
About that. You brought up his name. I can't even. Ron Jeremy. I just said he's from Bayside, Queens, which is. Maybe one of my sons went to school right where he lived. I just wanted to tell you, I heard it like a crazy story, and he fucking dirtbag. I mean, later it looked like an
forget it.
Like, he got pinched for raping old women, and he was already older himself. And he's in the can, he's in the joint. He got locked up. Matt?
I know. I heard all about it. But I mean, come on, man. The guys, grow up. Enough is enough now. What do you can't do that forever.
No.
But the grimy stuff, though. I don't go for that stuff. I tell you the truth, Greg. After that, it made me feel like sex was dirty in a way. It wasn't really appealing because I'm not that way. I don't even utter a curse word in front of women. I don't like that stuff. I don't look at Playboy. I'm not into that. It's just not my thing. That's all. Anyway, I'll save some stories for next week. I love you. Tell Kathleen I said good night. Tell Antonio I said hello. And
the chat loves you. You know that.
And I love you.
I got to ask you one thing before you go.
What's that, pal?
Did they make decent money back then doing these films? Like the guys, the girls, did they make
Ron Jeremy, you know what he got paid? He only got paid $600. That was what he got paid. $600. That's all.
You're a deviant. You know what I mean? 600, you have to sleep with whoever they tell you to. I love you, man.
I'll tell you more as far as how the money goes and how these girls are just they're like freaks of what they'll do just for hundreds. It's disgusting, Anyway, we'll save that for another edition.
I'll give you a call during the week for sure, and I'm never going to apply for that job. Don't worry about it. You'll never have to hear that I applied for one of these jobs doing this. Unless they're paying more than $600,
but I heard with you, I have to get a wider screen. I heard.
Oh, no, we're all good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is
we are only a simulation. Anyway, Greg, I love you, my brother.
You got it.
All right.
All right. God bless. Be safe.
Bye-bye.
Hang out, Chad.
Take
You got
care.
it. Good night. Bro.
Bye.
I hope everybody enjoyed. Freaking Jimmy is you know, he's a man. He's great. Nobody tells truthful, in my opinion, truthful stories that are real and, you know, makes you understand, tries to take you into that world and how everything, that's all you're really thinking about is how you can make a nickel, you know, and I don't mean nickel literally. You could, there's never enough. There's never enough. You know, you could have, you know, I'm speaking on experience here in just what I was involved in. And you know, I don't say too much. I just, you know, when you're doing things, you know, you're not thinking about consequences. You're not thinking about getting caught. That's the furthest thing from your mind. You don't, you know, if you're fully invested, you're all in. So like you might have heard, you know, in an interview I did on Hard Truth and Review with Loomis and OG Mike, great people. Drop their link if somebody can. Drop anybody's link. Whoever's got a show, Jack the Ripper, good to see you. Drop everybody's link. I'm clueless with it. Whoever's got a show, drop their links. Tommy's, everybody's, please. Thank you so much. I just wanted to tell you guys this. I used to, you know, used to have guys I was around, you know, in the life, heavy in the life. I was heavy in the life, just not, I wasn't officially a made member. But I lived it fully. And, you know, I wasn't a part-timer, meaning I was 24/7 on the job. So I've said this, it's public. One of the things, you know, one, you know, and I didn't want to say it, but it kind of was out. So, you know, one of the biggest things I would do personally was, I had a very big thing. I had a lot of ins with building managers in the city. So I had a legitimate carpet company. Okay. So of course, you're taking care of people, you're going to get all the work. So that leads to more introductions. Well, before you know it, I'm doing all the work for the Archdiocese of New York. Now, the Archdiocese owned the biggest real estate company in the world. I had somebody on the inside of the diocese that was just as greedy as any wise guy I ever met in my life. So I went from a flooring company that did actual work to having about 10 shell companies that were doing no work. And we were bringing in money every week. We would whack it up 50-50 quickly. I mean, with the real company, it took 30 days to get paid, to 60. With all the other companies that weren't companies, every week, clockwork, 50%. You know, the man that I was doing this business with, he unfortunately took his own life some years later. There's somebody in the chat, you know, that knows this gentleman, and you know, why he took his life, I don't know. I had lost touch with him, but he was very greedy. And like I said, he was, you know, he had a good deal. He was getting 50%, didn't have to worry about repercussions. I mean, yeah, if he got caught, but everybody knows, and this isn't a shot at the church, but the church keeps everything in-house, right? They don't, whether it's a priest issue, and the same thing with Robin, you know, and, you know, so you got to wonder, besides him running the facilities, and he was in charge of 1,900 properties, he would call me. I need concrete here. I need asphalt here. I need 3 pumps put here. I need a fence here. I need floors cleaned here. None of it got done. You're going to charge me $6,000 for this, $8,000 for that, $4,000, and all the companies were set up legitimately, except nothing was being paid, except we would whack that money up. He'd get 50% cash. I get the other 50%. I would make some, always turn in a little bit. Sometimes my numbers were off a little, but I always did the right thing. And, you know, that went on for a while. I mean, we had a good run, but I used to have guys in the life tell me, you're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You're crazy. You're nuts. I don't want nothing to do with this. You're nuts. You don't do it. You know, they not that they were afraid. They weren't afraid. They just thought it was crazy, risky. But, you know, 1,000,000% facts. And that's just, you know, one. I thought you know, a lot of people ask me, Craig, you don't talk enough about it, because it, you know, I talked a little bit about myself when I started the show, because nobody was ever going to say, nobody's going to ever be able to pull skeletons out of my closet. So I'm going to give you everything, mostly everything that is out there. So you're not going to hear a word of bullshit out of my mouth. You know, be that as it may, you know, I don't want to get started because I'm holding back. I'm holding back. I'm going to say, man, stay classy, San Diego, right? We're going to stay that way. And scam after scam, you know, me and Jimmy would talk on the phone, laugh. You know, me and Freddie today must have had a 2-hour conversation, and, you know, that's between us, but just laugh, Benny. You know, there's going to come a night where Benny, I don't know if Benny's still in the house. He's already told me, you know, at one time I was married to Benny's sister. Okay. But we were like brothers, and we still are. That's a whole, that could be, you know, a year's worth of stuff of, you know, I don't want to ever glorify things, but when you're talking about that you have, you know, you can't run from things you've done, right? So we try to become better and not do these things again. And, you know, if that's the case, but I'll never run. I won't. You can't run from your past. You learn from it, right? That's the idea anyway, I think, and try to be better for it. And that's what you do. But there's so many people in here that, you know, I was raised around or married into later on from young, that it was all around. I mean, it was everywhere, coming out of New York, Queens. I always say where I'm from, Flushing, Queens. Stayed mostly in Whitestone, College Point. Raised my children, my first 3 children in Whitestone. You know, so I'm not afraid. You know, I say it for what it is. You know, we have over, I don't know, it's not a lot. We're a small channel, right? Small show. You got a lot of people hating on this little small channel. For what? For what? For what? Why? 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 Because you want to tell everybody you were involved in the life. It's nothing to be proud of anyway, but, you know, I'm not ashamed of it. It's part of my life, but it's a small blip of my life, right? But when you feel a need to say you're part of something, that you were part of something and you really weren't, and I'm not here for saying who, what, where, but put a chat, educate yourself, start to pay attention. I've told you, it's public knowledge where I was. It was public knowledge. I said I lived in Queens. I was part of a Bronx crew. Okay. It was public knowledge. I said who I was under, who I was with. Stuff is public information. That's why I'll speak on it. Okay. There's a lot more I could speak on. I don't. No need to. I didn't feel a need to prove anything, but I wanted to make sure whoever's got to go do their homework, do it. See what you find. You're never going to see a 302. You'll never see none of that. So I wasn't afraid to use my face, my name. And that's it. I love sport. Sports is my passion, right? And many things in life, right? I like good food. We all like different things. But the mob is not my passion. The mob was part of a period of my life, and I lived it to the fullest. And yes, when I was fully invested, and I wanted that. I wanted to become a made guy. No doubt about it. I will not lie about that. But you know what? Thank God I didn't. Only two things guaranteed. We all know what they are. You go into prison. I'm not talking about fucking a year or two. You're going to prison, and you're going to keep going back and forth and back and forth. Jimmy's a testimony of that. Right? And good chance, not a good chance, depending on jealousy and many things. I've said this before. It's the person that's got the ear, who's got some power, that could be making up bullshit about you. You could be the best guy in the world with a great reputation in the street, well loved, but somebody's jealous of you. It's a fact. And they could be jealous of you over 1,000 different things, and you don't know it. You don't know it, that he's pissing in somebody's ear that's got the power. And you don't know you have a major problem and you didn't do nothing wrong. Nothing. Just somebody's jealous of you. Could be anything. You're an earner. Some of the stupidest shit guys disappeared for. I'm not telling you. Just you know. I always say this. I'm not a historian. I don't look up facts. It's not something I did. I don't go to Jerry Capisci, gangland.com. That's not me. I don't claim. I don't know everybody. There's a lot of names I don't know. I heard a lot of names growing up. You know, my family's from Harlem. I've been clear on that. Benny's family's from Harlem. There's a lot of people. Timmy Irish, we had a great conversation about an area in the Bronx that he's from. And guess what? I mentioned something to Timmy, and we knew the same people. Am I correct, Timmy? So I can't now, if I say something to Timmy, right, and he happens to know that person, and I happen to have an answer for that, what if I just said that, and now I'm talking to a guy from that neighborhood? That's how guys get caught out there and expose themselves. It's horrible. It's sickening. It truly is sickening. Sickening. I can't tell you how much a liar. Timmy, I'm sorry to put that out there, but I just wanted to just say we had a beautiful conversation, actually, and that it'll end there. And I got a lot of love for you, Timmy. You know that. We spoke, and it was crazy. We knew a lot of the same people, and we have a lot more to talk about. And you're going to hear a lot of that stuff, Timmy, when, you know, and Benny Benedetto, as he's known on the board here, we called him Benny, Sideline Scout's uncle. Benny, we called him Benny. He came from when I tell you mother's side, father's side, right from Sicily, every angle was covered. And when I say there was more made guys on both sides of the family, mother and father, I honestly, I'm not talking about I'm talking about powerhouses, but I still don't feel comfortable talking about it. And he's told me to talk about it. Benny's father was killed when he was young. He understands it. That leads me into what I'm going to say to you guys now. March 7th. I had to do it a couple of weeks from now for this woman that's going to come on and tell a story of the other side of what I basically just said about Antonio's grandfather that he never knew, right? So there's another side to being in the street. It's jail and death. And again, the jealousy thing can cost you your life. But there's a woman that's going to come on, and I'm telling you guys now. It's March 7th. It's a Thursday night, and it's going to be at 8 o'clock. Her name is Fran Masucci from New Jersey. She's going to come on here. I'm not going to tell her story. It's her story to tell. But she's going to share it with our group, our community. We spoke at least for 3 hours, in 2 separate conversations. She came to me knowing I'm not you'll understand her story. Her father disappeared 50 years ago. She'll get into the ins and outs and stuff like that, and she's going to tell it. But she wants to come on here, and she knows that I don't host cooperators, rats, and no longer liars. Yeah, I said it, that I was not aware of. You see, because that makes me a little angry now, because now I feel it was done on purpose. So, whatever. Okay? Because, anyway, she's going to come on here and tell everybody her story. And it's the same story as Benny wants me to tell, or he'll tell, or my son could tell, about not having a grandfather, and how Benny lost his father at a young age, right? But they found his body, they found him still gone, but he was murdered. Okay? This woman, no closure. And she's going to tell her story. I think it's a story that everybody needs to hear. And she knows that I'm not she knows that I was on the other side. When I say the other side, I wasn't a choir boy. She knows that. And that's why she wanted to come on here. Because I made it sure, I had to tell her, I'm not a detective, and that kind of stuff. And it's, but I'd be would love if you feel you want somebody that understands some things about the life, please do. Come on, tell her, maybe there's somebody out there that can help whatever she has to say. And she has a lot. And then I'll try to help her get to the right shows she needs to get to, or maybe somebody can help her. I definitely cannot help from any point of view other than to help her, give her a platform to tell a story that's true and sad. But unfortunately, you sign up for it. No different than if you want to be a Cub Scout, I'll use that. Or play football as a kid, you sign up to play football on a football team. You're gonna practice and you're gonna work hard to get ready to play. Well, you sign up to be in the street anyway. I don't care, mob, whatever you want to call it, gangs, any kind of bullshit. You're a lone wolf doing your own thing. Usually, it catches up. And it can catch up in a lot of ways. And guys don't need to have this history lesson from me. I just wanted to share a little bit more with you. And if you ever have a question about anything concerning me and my life, I'm an open book. Again, I'm not going to say it all the time. The name of our show is Craig and Friends. Ask away. There's nothing. I'm always going to give. It might not be an answer you like, but I'm going to answer it, right? So I love you guys, man. Thank you so much. I also have to give credit. Again, I told you they won't feed me. For a new back out song. I like to leave you guys with a little music leaving the scene too. I hope everybody had a good time. Joey asked, all right, hold on. You know what, guys? Stick around. If you guys, I'm getting some questions if you want to hear the answers. All right, Joey asked, how I guess me, how do I feel about rats and liars? Are they the same? Well, rats, 9 out of 10 are putting people in jail and hurting families, right? Antonio, you know of something that liars, forget about, oh, I'll get to the second liar, but 4 liars, right, concocted a story. So liars, and I won't get into it, but liars and rats, to me, somebody wants to tell me there's a difference between them, go right ahead. Because the liar is just as cunning, destructive. Maybe you won't end up in prison, but you don't know your reputation, your integrity is being destroyed, or things are no different than I told you, the guy that's making up lies about you to somebody's got power. A liar is, to me, it's a horrific trait. Something that is unacceptable to me at this. Look, my father was a handsy guy. You ever lied to him? I say what it is. It wasn't good. So we learned that at a young age. You lie, you know what's coming. And he always said, I can't defend you if you don't tell me the truth. So we knew that at a very young age. Probably, most would say too young, but you know what? It did, it does take you out. So I don't worry about saying anything on here. I know I heard that there's some people that I had respect for don't like how I speak. And I notice they don't come in here anymore. That's fine. That's fine. But maybe somebody that was here was talking craziness. And I could care less if you ever fucking come in here. All of you. Not you guys. Love you guys. So for those that don't know about the mafia and the code and the life, call bullshit on the people that don't tell you who they were with and who they were fucking around and what crew they were with. Because any man that I put on this show will do that. Because they got nothing to hide. And they got nobody that they're going to put in harm's way. They got nobody to put in harm's way because they're gone. Okay? So anybody that's got a problem with the way I talk, don't go through clown anymore. Bring it to me. Be a man. Bring it to me. Ain't nothing but a bridge separates us. That's all it is. So if you don't like me, why come here? I'm not, you know what I mean? I'm not good at being a phony. I can't do it. I'm not built that way. So we want love, peace, and harmony. And we want to respect. But respect, again, taught very young. Two-way street, not a one-way street, right? 42nd Street goes up and down both ways. This ain't a one-way fucking street. Never has been, never will be. I haven't been a victim my whole life, and I ain't going to start now. That doesn't mean I'm looking to victimize nobody. No. But I believe in certain things. And I'm not a criminal anymore. I don't do bad things. I get up every day and don't want to do bad things. But that does not mean, don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Because things that you are built inside of you never leave you. So you come anywhere, like little things. Could be a little thing. Joetown, what are you clueless about, brother? Because I love you being here. And I want you to stay here. But tell me what you're clueless about, boss. Because, I did my best to, and I'll continue to be as gentlemanly as possible and in a nice manner about, you know what, you guys are all on YouTube. You guys are all on YouTube. When 40 videos, I don't know how many, get sent to me and every one of my children that are men, with my picture on them, Jimmy's face on them, and you're supposed to be somebody I know and spoke highly of, that's not acceptable. But I didn't have to tell you guys this. Unfortunately, I didn't know, you know, but when I've had this conversation, when you can't say I didn't know. That don't work. I didn't know doesn't work. I'm supposed to know, but I didn't think I had to do homework. You know what I mean? So all these crazy videos wound up coming to me. Then I'm getting emails from people that I used to see in the chat telling me crazy things, and I'm not crazy things. And I said, okay, I'm not going to overreact. I'm going to approach the situation, take my time, and evaluate things and see if they're accurate. And then ask that person, what? Why? I could never get that answer. So then it continued and continued. And this is honestly, I'm doing this. I probably shouldn't have did this, but I had to get it off my chest in a nice way, as nice as I could think of. So that's why the show is now The Reality Report with Craig and Friends. Because if I won't put cooperators and rats on here, which I won't. Mikey Scars came into one of our chats to say what a great man Jimmy's dad was. How long did Mikey Scars last in the chat? About 2 seconds. It's just the way it is. That's who I am. The way it is. Don't have to agree or not. That's what this house is about. It doesn't mean everybody's got a reason and story to tell. You can do it. Just tell your story. Just not going to tell it here. So when I allow you to not only be on this platform, not that we're anything special, we're not, right? We're a small show. What's the point of trying to destroy the show? You know, we're having a good time here. And now it was funny. I saw all the things. I said, wow. I laugh. But then that laugh turns into, did you purposely do this? And knowing that, you know, look, no war stories here, but it is what it is. We move on. We got great shit coming up. I didn't need to have 40 people up here. I think it makes for good shows. But, you know, I wanted to clear things up. You know, there's some people that don't come in here no more. That's, hey, I get it. You got to support what you got to support. I'm all about that because I'll support whoever I supported in my life. 1,000,000% to the gate. I support them. Right? So I get that. That's cool. You got to step, you got to move in another direction. You do that. You do that. And you know what? Them knowing what you did, they choose you. They just fucking like you. They just like you. So that's doing us a favor as well. Right? Well, they don't say birds of a feather fly together for no reason. That's it. And I don't think we're a mob. You know, another thing, I hear about all this mob genre stuff, all these beefs, and I saw all the videos. It's crazy. It's crazy. We're not real. I mean, I don't, you know, some people might argue it. We do a mob show once a week. Jimmy's a friend. And he'll continue to have a platform here for as long as he wants to. And Jimmy might wind up here 2 days a week, 3 days a week, but it won't be always about, it's not about the mob. That's only 1 day a week. Todd, Father, it's a pleasure to see you. Thank you for coming in. Just clearing some things up, Todd. Good to see you, brother. So Jimmy, we do mob stuff once a week. That's it. That's it. What do we do? I laid out all the shows that are going to be for next week, right? It's mostly sports stuff. And then we're going to get into a little bit of this, working with the movie stars and whatever they were. Frankie, how are you? Mike F, man, Top Father, it's good to see you. Ain't seen you in a minute, but it makes you kind of, it's no different. My sons know because they were, they were raised a certain way too, not in the street, but they understood things, they saw things growing up. So Dad, if you wouldn't accept certain things from us or anybody else, why are you allowing it on your show? Not only that, why are you taking a back seat on your show and because everything gets exposed. Obviously, it got exposed and landed up on my door, right? You know what I mean? Not literally, but it lands up on your doorstep. And now you leave me holding a bag that I got to answer to my community because I do. Because I do. Some people, well, why do you? Well, because I do. Because that's how I'm raised. I have to answer for somebody else. So I had to do that. Think. It's you guys I got to say why somebody's not here no more. Won't be. But I have to say something to a friend. I'm sorry. Please forgive me for indulging your life, your dad's life, to that person. And I let that go on. So you see, in the wrong world, I have a big problem. I would have had a huge problem over something that people might see as a minor thing. No, it's not. I know we're not doing crime here. We were having fun. But to me, if I tell somebody you're good people and no, I know you 30 years and blah, 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 and you want to do that to me? How you think I'm going to feel about it? Now I got to answer questions to my family. How did you not see this? You know better than that. You know what I mean? Questions that I do know. They're right. I got to talk to my chat. That everybody, why? How come? You need to know. You need to hear an answer, right? So this mob genre thing, I don't want no part of this drama. But I got to tell you, the drama's over. A new day is here. But for anybody, I want it to be very clear. Obviously, whoever's here wants to be here, and I love you, man. I love you. My children, if they're watching, and anybody that knows, my boy Freddie came in here tonight because I told you he was going to come in here tonight, right? I told you I knew somebody. I knew him. Grew up with him. He's going to be doing fights with us. It's real. We don't have to make nothing up. If I don't know you, I don't know you. But this genre, I don't know what it is. I don't care to know what it is. But it ended up in my house, my children's home, YouTube everywhere, seeing pictures of me and Jimmy and videos, listening to things that, whatever. So moving forward, nobody will have to ask why. There's 2 channels out there that sent, I don't know, it had to be over 40 videos. And every channel, this guy has somebody I knew 30 years ago that my children played football with his kids. And we did have a brawl. That all happened. But that, I still, it bothers me, it bothers me, what happened? Yeah, I hadn't seen him in 20-something years. But you choose me to fucking try to destroy. So I do take it that way. I do take it personal in a sense. And you're not just destroying me, you're destroying what we're building here. And again, for all of those people out there that worry about what I'm doing, don't worry about what I'm doing. Don't. We have 353 subs. What are you worried about us for? What are you worried about how I talk or us? Don't worry about us. Don't worry. Don't worry about us. And again, I'll say it again. I'm an open book. I'm not a tough guy. I'm 57 years old. I was a tough guy. I'm not anymore. I don't fight. I don't want to fight with nobody. But you come for some, you'll get some. That's a fact. You got to kill me. You got to hurt me. And you better finish it. So what I'm saying is, let's have respect and love each other. Show some love. And I'm not in this mob community, mob genre shit. Leave me the fuck out of it. Because I talk about facts. Okay? I talk about real shit. Okay? I talk about who I was around, who I was with. You think people would want me on their show if they didn't have fucking newspapers in front of them? So why would I dare say names if they A, weren't dead, and I wasn't there? I said something about Dominic Sicali. Why? I made a video about it. Why? Because I knew the people he was talking about. Because I was in that area at that time, not with the same family. Okay? So that's why I did it. Because I knew the two people he was talking about. Okay? So I was able to do that. Nothing to be proud of. But don't tell a little story, tell the whole story. So, for those that don't know, easiest way, ask those questions like please ask me. If I don't know somebody, I don't know them. But if I do, you know about it. Look at I say it for what it is. You cannot know everybody in this life, in that life. You cannot. You can't. Yeah, I heard of this one. I heard of that one. You grew up around everything I did. I wasn't born into it like Jimmy was born into it, but it was all around me, heavy. I still was an athlete, and I wasn't in the street. I didn't get heavily invested into the street until later. You know, my children, my son's here, listen right now. You know, you think I'm going to come here, on here, with my face and my name, my family, my friends, and be a fucking liar? A liar? A mutt? But you chose this show to come on and think that's what you're going to do. You did it. So it's all good. It's all good. Like I told you, it's all good. Just keep it moving. Keep it moving, Mel Kiper. All right? I won't get into any of that stuff. You know what I mean? With the outrageous shit. But you should have just picked someone else, because you know you picked the wrong guy to fucking do it to. But you did it. So that's what I don't pay you no mind. I just, you know, and you know, if I really wanted to put it out there real good, I'll really fucking put it out there. But I won't. I mean, I just need to get that off my chest about, I don't know how you sleep at night doing that. Forget. Guys, no man, please understand what I'm saying, that was in the life, around the life intimately, knows about the life from a perspective of my cousin was in this or whatever. But no guy that was invested in the life, in a crew, answering to people on a daily basis, 24/7, okay, is going to go on shows with 7 women and play tough guy and make up stories. Common sense. I want to try to help you guys understand how that works. It doesn't. No man's going to do that. It's not about that you can't speak to women. No. There's certain things you don't speak about, right? Like I heard there's somebody that doesn't like how I speak. That's fine. That's his opinion. He's entitled to it. Brian G, I don't know where he is, bro. You can look him up. I don't know. Got no answer for you. Nor do I want to know. Well, nah, I don't want to know. So all I'm saying is to all of these guys, you know, my son's laughing because he knows I'm about to fucking flip a desk. I won't. What I'm saying is the way all these, you know, and I understand it now a little bit, and I respect it to a point. The troll thing, everybody says trolls. You know what? What they're really doing is fact checking people, and the ones that are frauds, they go after. Now, I'm not going to say that nobody might come in here one day and say I'm a no good, I'm this, I'm that. We can't predict that, right? Anything I've said, where go back to all my videos, see how many trolls I've ever had. It's telling me I'm a liar, piece of shit, was never near nothing. I got plenty of family members in here, none to glorify, but it was a part of my life, so I don't run from it. But I want to try to educate those that don't know. There's things to look for when you want to. Lil Pip, thanks for jumping in. That's my other son, Junior. You guys will see him next week. So I got two of my sons in here right now. So they know their father's not a mutt. They know a lot of mistakes I made in my life. They needed to know the pain I caused people that love me, right? So, you know, why would I ruin their lives and embarrass them that they got to put their head down by coming on a YouTube channel and creating, like, fucking Dr. Seuss couldn't make up the shit that that landed in my house. So I guess what'll happen is somebody will either decide that they're not happy about what I had to say and make your video, do what you got to do, or you'll respect what I'm saying because it's the truth. It's the truth. And it nauseates me that it is the truth and turned out to be the truth. It's sickening. It makes me sick. I'm dead serious about that. It makes me fucking nauseous. Yeah, you got two gattos in the house, Baywatcher, and there's two more. Actually, there's more than that, but there's two more of mine. And, you know, when people care about you, you know, they take it personally. They do, especially if somebody is calling you nephew, my brother. They grew up with his children. And you decide this is the place that you're going to do this. So, again, I want to really talk to the people that have an issue. I'll have more respect for you if you tell me, I don't like the fact that you don't have him on your show. And then I could tell you how I feel about you. All you got to do is pick up the phone. Whoever it is, I'll give it to you. My email's at YouTube. First it starts there. Email me. Tell me you got something on your mind. Right? That's the word, Timmy. Maybe that's a Bronx thing. I heard that all the time. You got something on your mind? Get it off your fucking mind. Get it off your chest. That's what men do. I know I did. I had something on my mind. I'm going to let you know about it. I wouldn't hold it. That's how you handle it. Get it off your chest. This way it don't become an issue. So if anybody's got something on their mind, just get it off. Don't whisper. Don't murmur. Be a man. Say what it is. Say what it is, and we move forward. Move forward. Let's move forward. And we're gonna. And we're gonna do great fucking things here. I'm sorry for the cursing. I'm sorry. I apologize. I want to have a diverse show where we have a lot of different things here. Maddie, great to see you back. I want to have a diverse show where every time somebody is on here talking, you will know that person is qualified to talk about what he is talking about. Tommy, real deal. Thank you so much for coming in, man. It really means a lot. Dead serious, Tommy. So you understand my sickness. And yet, enough. I'm not even going to give the breath no more, to that. Now I'm focused on the ones that want to harbor this parasite. Okay, you want to harbor this parasite. You want to run your mouth about me. Now maybe those were all lies I was hearing that you never said about me, and you know who I'm talking to. You know. Todd Father, it meant a lot. You came in tonight. You showed me something, bro. Thank you so much. Thank you for our crew, our friends. Because we all respect each other's shows. So I thought, and I wanted to say that way. I truly do. But I have to worry about this house and what we do. And I'm gonna do my best, my word, to put a great show. Sometimes it'll fail. That's why we can do a lot of different things. And we are not going to be, I don't want to be, yes, I can't run from my history, and I won't. I was involved, and I have a lot of family members that were involved. But guess what? I'm a different man now. Okay? And we moved on. Once a week, Jimmy will be here. This is his home. You guys love hearing Jimmy. I love him. He is a friend. I'm going to come out to Jersey. We're going to do some things out there. I don't like to say something unless it's happening. I told you last week, I had a friend of mine, Freddie Liberatore. Freddie was so gracious enough tonight that he felt the need. That's a friend. He felt the need because he heard some nonsense from an old video. He felt a need to get in this chat tonight to let any fight fans that really follow boxing to know we're 50 years. We started playing ball together, probably 7 years old, 8. That was important to him. He did it on his own. I said, Fred, we ain't got nothing to prove to nobody, brother. You'll pop on when you pop on. Thank you so much. He said, Craig, no, ain't going down like that. That's a friend. Anybody wants to go to YouTube, look up Freddie Pitbull Liberatore. Freddie will be with us March 12th. We're trying out because Freddie is very busy. He travels a lot. He works a lot of production behind the scenes with a lot of different events that are on television. So they fly him everywhere. And he's a production guy, again, behind the scenes. So he works like crazy, but he's going to make as many shows as he can. And maybe we'll do some of his fights. And I think that would be the only right thing to do. Freddie comes on. We do one of his. I told him how much anxiety he caused me and how much furniture I broke in my house. So he has a bill he has to pay. I ruined a lot of furniture when he fought because they were always anxiety filled. Anybody that watched Freddie fight knows it was like you're watching Mancini. It was all heart, guts, and fucking banging. Kevin Kelly's from my neighborhood. Freddie could speak on Kevin a lot more. I'm not going to tell you I'm best friends or tight with Kevin Kelly. He's from Flushing. That's what I could tell you. I could tell you that him and Freddie were very close, stablemates for a while, like my cousin Eddie Castellazzo. He boxed. Hector Roca was his trainer. My son Antonio boxed for a while. He's in the chat. My son Craig, he'll be doing the MMA stuff on here. He's qualified to speak on what he's going to speak on. Otherwise, they wouldn't be up here, whether they're my sons or not. Yeah, awesome. Roy, what's up, buddy? Real You guys are great, man. Just sticking it out. No, it's just some things I want to get off my chest that I didn't even think I was going to address. But I just, there was too many people saying, how come, why, what? So I guess I had to address it and address it in a way where it just, we could finally just move on about it. Done. Ain't gonna be no drama here. Yo, Joe Town, you always tell me, I wish I had that head movement when I was getting, hit with a bottle in a bar or something. But yeah, I didn't have great head movement. That's why I didn't do too well. I messed around, sparring with friends and whatnot. Enjoyed it. Just I was, for me, I was a football. I was a decent athlete. I'm whatever. I'll let whoever people that grew up with me or whatever talk about that. I don't know. I was all right. Yeah, unfortunately, had to address the elephant in the room, and was never known as liars. We are not, and you can read with this. I'm going to put up what one of my sons just said. Sorry, guys. Sorry about that. My problem. I'm so, that's one of my sons talking. So you can try to understand that these are men now. So when they see disrespect, and I don't need my boys to handle, they're men, but they know how they were raised, and they know a lot, and they're hardworking men, law-abiding citizens. But again, video shouldn't be getting to them with me being looked like a fool. Besides that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? Jack the Ripper, man. I love your stuff. I've told you that. You have a great way of doing what you do, bro. You got a lot of talent. I'm serious. You really do. I just saw Joe Town, so it just made me think of something. Joe Town, me and OG Mike were talking for a couple of hours. It was crazy the other night. And we just started talking. And Freddie will tell you when he comes on, he fought one of, I think OG might have trained Frankie Warren or one of the Warrens. And Freddie, that's Freddie to tell the story. And OG was like, Freddie, and it was just crazy. And it's just a small friggin' world. Mike's in Texas. We're here in Queens. So Mike is going to send me some stuff from Texas. I got to get him cannolis, bread, fresh mozzarella, and some shirts from Arthur Avenue up in the Bronx. And these great people, man. Great people. My grandson, Sonny Santino, I love you. Pops loves you to death. My family and my friends, they mean the world to me. I mean that. And anybody that knows me, and there's a bunch here that do know me personally, yeah. I don't like betrayal. I don't know if anybody does, but boy, I'll tell you guys some shit, but I won't. I love you guys. Love is a word, that you can't say, or at least I couldn't, unless you mean it. So, yeah, maybe it's a catchphrase, to most. Love you guys. I don't know everybody here personally, but you know what? I love the fact. So it is love that you come here when you could do other things. And you might not like that it's a sports show, and we still have so many women, boxing, sport, football, going to get crazy with the MMA. We're going to get into the security stuff and the bodyguard work. And we're going to have some great stuff here. I believe we're going to have, we got some big interviews coming up, and I'm not per se an interviewer. I'm not, well, I like to keep it more of a conversation. So when Miss Masucci comes on the 7th, she's going to tell her story, and I'm going to try to, just let her tell her story. But getting back to fact, I don't feel a need, you're not doing nothing criminal with somebody. There's nothing to worry about, right? You say, well, I'm on YouTube. Yeah, Timmy. And then you find out this YouTube thing is like, I told somebody, I'm telling you, I told my sons this, I told Jimmy, me and Jimmy talked about it, a couple of people. I said, this YouTube thing, it was much easier in the street because you look somebody in the eye, you get a feel, you get that feel. YouTube, yeah, I could see right through somebody, yes. But the story stuff, like who's hating on who and all of that you don't know. You don't know who's plotting on somebody, and I'm not going to be part of that. It ain't going to happen. No, can't happen. So I want, I hope everybody sticks around. We're going to move, I don't want to be part of this mob genre shit, and whoever don't like the fact or is upset at the fact that they didn't walk the walk, but portray that they walked that walk, don't be upset with me. Be upset at yourself that you're a fraud as well. But I'm not here for that. I'm not here to name all of that. I don't want to be part of that. But I had to get that off my chest tonight. So same thing, if I'm going to be a certain way, I would hope and pray all our people are the same way. That's why we're Craig and friends. We're one. That means something to me. With that being said, let's end this shit the right way. I love you guys. I love you guys for sticking around and hanging out. I had to get this off my chest. I keep getting too many emails on it, so it needs to be addressed a little bit more clear. Thank you all. Thank you for the love, for everything, for always coming around. Next week's a busy week. All the thumbnails I'll put up Sunday. I'll do the best I can to not step. Again, we're a small show, right? So I know a lot of people, there's a lot of shows everybody wants to watch. So I'm going to try to, work with some people and, Stacks and Spot and OG and whoever I can, and do things where, we could all enjoy everybody's show. It's not always going to work. So we'll do the best we can, try to respect. But if I don't feel people are respecting this house and our community, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm just going to do what we need to do, and I'm not going to worry about what times other shows are on. I'm just not. We gotta do this. Thank you all. Love you guys. I mean it. Thank you for being so respectful. I don't think we had one. We might have had one. I don't know if he was being serious or not. I won't say the name with some of the questions, but I was keeping an eye on it. And please, I hope everybody has a wrench in here. If not, let me know. Because, sometimes it's tough for me to see if craziness is going on. So if anybody sees anybody being disrespectful to Jimmy or anybody that's up here or anybody that's in the chat and somebody's getting disrespectful to somebody in the chat, pull the plug on them. They don't belong here. This is a place that you're going to come and I feel this way about it. There's a better fight for you down the block. Go down the block. There's a much better fight. Just take your bullshit, take it somewhere else. You'll get better results somewhere else. You will. You get better results. All right. I love you guys. Just want to keep it 100, as they say today, and not, be real. I got too much questions on it, and now it's officially done, and we move forward next week. 5 days. I told you we got boxing, MMA breakdown. I told you it'll be totally different. Show classic fights, and we'll show the scientific strategy end of why certain things are happening and how the traps are set up from the grappling and jiu-jitsu area, all areas. We have our draft show. We have Jimmy, and we'll probably do a security, one of my bodyguard stories about maybe one of the concerts I work. I'll come up with a really good one, a juicy one. And we're going to have a lot of guests coming up because real friends are reaching out now, and I didn't tell everybody, I got a channel, go to YouTube, do me a favor. I didn't. Just be well, everybody. God bless. I always say this, be safe. Santino, if you're watching, Pops, I love you. Love all you guys. But, I like to end it with a little music. So we came up with a different closeout song. We changed the theme tonight. I hope you like this one. Love you guys. Be well. Always. Matty Boy, tomorrow we got a concert to go to. Papa Chubby, Dave T. I'll get some good pictures, and we'll get them to you. And that being said, check it out.